Last May, went out on my own, and as of this month, I've just wrote 1 million in GCI as my own agent. It literally is because the back end of Generate Listings allowing me to basically scale the back end. You guys do get me into a lot of these doors. Obviously, it's prospecting on the back end of those, but also just the fact that you guys can get me into these doors and allow me to basically streamline the whole process has been unbelievable.
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to today's featured case study. I'm just here with my man Daniel out in his new house here in Ipswich. Super excited to get into this one. He's had a lot of growth in his business, so let's dive right in. Daniel, just to kind of introduce yourself to everyone watching, what kind of areas are you currently servicing as an agent? Tell us a little bit about your team, how you're kind of currently set up, and how you actually found Generate Listings in the first place.
Well, first and foremost, I'm Daniel Parsons. Basically, the areas that I service is Ipswich Greater Region. There's obviously a few pockets that I kind of specialise in, but to be completely honest, basically the whole Greater Region is what I really like to target. The good thing about that is one side of town to the other side of town is about 20 minutes, so it does allow me to kind of service the whole area. And also with the ad spend that I'm kind of utilising, it does really need to be that kind of larger audience because the money that I'm putting into it. About myself and the team, I do have a bit of a team behind me. Natalie, my personal assistant, she takes care of everything on the back end. As you can appreciate, I run around like a madman most days. She keeps everything in check on the back end. And then I also have Braden, my offsider, who also has joined the team this year and basically is assisting me on the back end and getting things ready to go from there. And also I have Rebecca, which is the AI, thanks to Generate Listings, which is fantastic.
Rebecca, the AI assistant.
Yes, no, she's awesome.
Yep. Don't have to worry about the superannuation.
No, don't, she's good.
And all of that stuff.
Just mini chat, that's it. Originally, I did start off as an associate, as everyone usually does. I was cold calling, door knocking, all the bells and whistles, the stuff that no one really wants to do. And then one day I was scrolling on Facebook and I've had one of your ads popped up. I've just clicked on it, sounded too good to be true, ended up getting an appointment booked in, went through that, actually kind of really liked the idea of what you guys were pitching at the time. And yeah, basically the rest is history from there. Just started investing into the long term of that. As I was someone explained to me when I first started in the industry that it's just a people's game and like a numbers game. And I just realized as a new agent, I just need to be in front of as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. Obviously you have established agents that have been around for 5, 10, 20 years. A lot of their business is just referral. I wanted to get to that stage as quick as possible. And I felt like your model really allowed me to basically get in front of as many eyeballs as possible, get in front of them and create those relationships early on, and kind of go from there, really.
When we did start working together, and obviously a little bit different from maybe some of the people we work with, because you were pretty much a brand new agent, you obviously were an associate at the time, and I don't think you had even listed a property yet. I don't think you'd even done an appraisal yet. In kind of
nothing
saying that, but obviously at the time you were incredibly driven and ambitious, like you wanted to succeed and you wanted to do so very quickly. I guess to provide context to everyone watching, how did you initially get into real estate? Like, why did you want to go into real estate?
Originally I started a couple of years ago as an associate to another person actually in the franchise I work for at the moment. At the time, I just felt like it wasn't the right time for me. I didn't really feel that connected to it, and also had a few other things on the side which I kind of wanted to pursue, but which also kind of led me back to real estate after those things didn't come to fruition. But also I felt like because I had taken those opportunities, allowed me to come back to this and just be tunnel vision, and this is what I wanted to do, and basically just get into it. Yeah. It's happened very quickly for you, so it's been awesome to see. When you did first come to Generate Listings, was there anything specifically that kind of attracted you to working with us? Was there kind of specific you were looking for as well, or specific outcome? Well, I just literally wanted to be in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Obviously, a lot of it was originally drew me into was the social media side. You guys obviously gave templates on how to basically do videos and get that social media presence also organically without actually having to fork out a lot of money. So that really was attractive to me at the time, just to get my face out there as well. But like also even just the way from the ad, which originally caught my eye, obviously if they're catching my eye with obviously selling their product, they're probably going to catch other people's eye when they're selling my product, as in myself.
Yeah.
So that also drew me in a lot more with that, but also just even the whole process of onboarding, obviously chatting with people in your team, then obviously chatting with yourself. Like these are really motivated people themselves, and they do work very hard. I put a lot of obviously trust into you guys and just literally nearly let you guys run things as you want to run them. And I'd really, like, you can lean into these guys and just get these ads going. Obviously, if you want something changed, I message you guys at 10 o'clock at night sometimes, and I get a reply at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, oh my God, these guys are all over it. They're super reactive. The good thing is too, like, you're working with you guys. You guys do get it done in a great way as well.
In terms of the kind of results that you've had, would you be able to share what you've kind of seen? I think we've been working together for around 18 months.
Yeah.
And obviously you had a pretty quick start as well. Like I think probably that initial 4 or 5 month period. Yeah. Obviously had a big first year, and then obviously over the entire kind of 18 months working with us as well at this point.
So I think after 3 or 4 months, it was like 6 or 7 listings I ended up getting. But obviously none of them came, one of them came quite quickly, but it was also quite a long game. We had this discussion where I wanted to invest money into it and play the long game. Like if you play this long game, it's very hard not to succeed in this industry, I feel like. But in those short time frame, that first basically 8 months as an associate, I brought in 18 listings, I think it was, which was about just shy of 500K GCI. Last May, went out on my own, and as of this month, I've just wrote 1 million in GCI as my own agent. Obviously, a lot of that is on the back of you guys. Obviously, you guys do get me into a lot of these doors. Obviously, it's prospecting on the back end of those, but also just the fact that you guys can get me into these doors and allow me to basically streamline the whole process has been unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been remarkable that you've obviously been able to hit the 1 million GCI, but even more remarkable, the speed in which that you've done it. Like it's been very impressive, like the kind of results that you have seen. I think over 18 months, I think we tracked directly around 23 kind of listings. So about 495,000 GCI extra. Yeah. Though I'm assuming a lot of the other listings that you got probably off the back of a lot of the listings that had come from social media, or you were piggybacking, or you had some sort of process for those people as well once you did have the listing?
Well, basically, as you appreciate, I started off, I had no database whatsoever. So this basically allowed me to get somewhat of a database, get a couple runs on the board, and then obviously I can prospect off the back end, because obviously you guys get me through get me through the doors, and then once I sell that one, can basically keep going from there. But also you leverage off of that, and we've been doing videos and stuff on the back end, which has ultimately just kept the compound effect coming from there, which has just been unbelievable, to be honest.
Have you seen any kind of benefit in terms of like your brand in the market, or overall awareness, or just some sort of recognition within the market?
Well, I think it's quite hard to live in Ipswich at the moment and not see my face everywhere, especially with what we're going at the moment. But like I said, that's the whole thing. It's just a lot of it is brand awareness and playing that long game. But I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get referrals, call-ins, and all this kind of stuff. But it literally is because the back end of Generate Listings allowing me to basically scale the back end, obviously eventually with ad spend, and just really go from there. It's been unbelievable. Yeah,
I think probably at this point, I mean, if you live in Ipswich, you've probably seen Daniel, because he's probably the most seen person on social media in almost the whole city. Yeah. And obviously, we'll obviously go into some of the reasons why that is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you had kind of support from our team as we went. I know there's obviously some recent things we've also implemented for you that have helped a lot. Yeah. What was kind of the big needle movers initially, and then I guess you've even, I think, accelerated the results recently as well. Mm-hmm. Like, what are kind of the newer things as well that have kind of...
So originally, I really loved the idea of how you structured your ads through ManyChat. I'm not too sure if you want me to give too many secrets out or, but obviously through ManyChat, because a lot of even other ads agencies in town, they do a lot of form work, which basically if they don't complete the form, you get no data. The good thing about Facebook with ManyChat allowed them, as soon as they clicked on the ad, their name would come up and start a conversation with them. If they didn't proceed with it, a lot of the time in the back end, I was physically messaging them after a week or so or a couple of days saying if they're still interested in that appraisal, which ultimately allowed me to maximize the cost per click on the back end. But then merging from that, you guys obviously integrated the AI on the back end.
That was probably, maybe 6 months ago?
Yeah, and it's actually been unbelievable. Like a lot of the time, a lead would come in at 10 o'clock, I'd sit there with one eye open, I'd be trying to reply to them, which obviously you want to try and get to your leads as quick as possible, but with the AI on the back end, within 4 or 5 minutes, they've basically already sent a text message, basically engaged in the conversation, which just happened on Facebook, and literally trying to book that appointment already. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I have sometimes 3 appointments booked in, appraisals that are ready to rock and roll while I was sleeping, which is not too bad, to be completely honest.
Yeah, because as I said, it seems like it has been even accelerating for you, even though you had a pretty fast start, as you said, like 6, 7 in the first 4 or 5 months type of thing. But obviously since the implementation of some of this stuff, it's even been happening quicker, or it's getting the volume up quicker. Obviously now you have a brand, so you're piggybacking off the back of that as well, which is obviously how real estate works. How many appraisals have you had in like the last 30 days?
About 35, I think 30.
35.
But like a lot of it too, I think a lot of agents need to take into consideration, even though they might not be looking to sell tomorrow, next month, maybe even 2 or 3 months, I'm still going to these appraisals, even they're not looking to sell for 5 years, because circumstances change. I'm going to go out there, otherwise I'll be sitting in the office literally doing nothing anyway. So I may as well go out there, meet these people. Obviously, if you're friendly enough, they refer you on. It's actually been a few times I've gone out there and then ended up their brother or sister or mum or dad selling their property. And because I went out there and actually took the time to see them, it's getting me into the doors for these other properties, which is just awesome to get through these doors and just make the most of it, really, which is fantastic.
It's all about, real estate's all about the kind of volume of conversations we're able to have, the amount of lounge rooms we're able to get into, the amount of connections we have with homeowners realistically, because if someone owns a home, like they're probably going to sell eventually. And I think a lot of agents, they forget that and they don't treat the pipeline as they should. So obviously something which is part of the reason you've had the kind of success that you have, which I guess brings me to, I guess a little bit of what you said probably comes as part of this, but the truth is that despite being like a very new agent coming in, you were able to outperform a lot of established agents in your market, in Ipswich in general, and you even outperform other agents that have worked with us in terms of how quickly you were able to get results and get traction and get indoors and all of that stuff. I guess obviously a lot of that is obviously testament to your work ethic, the ability you've had to follow up, follow what we give you to a T as well. When we have been working together. What else outside of that do you feel has enabled you to kind of get disproportionate results to other agents in your market or other agents even that are trying to market themselves for that type of thing?
Obviously a combination between even just like the ad creatives that are done with you guys, but also like, as I mentioned before, going to these really cold appraisals, like they might not looking to sell anytime soon, but because I've gone out there, I've put a face to it. When I give them a call in 6 months, they're going to answer and say, oh, hey mate, how's it going? Not looking to sell anytime soon. But when they're ready to sell, they just call me in uncontested, which also allows me to have one of the highest commissions in town. I don't know if I should say that or not, but just basically a lot of uncontested appraisals and listings, which just ultimately compounds from there. Basically, per every listing, I'm actually making more money per average per other agent, depending on the listings that they bring in. But a lot of that is because it's allowed me to get in these doors so much earlier than any other agents, or even before they're even thinking of selling.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that. They just focus on the stuff that comes in immediately, which of course you had some pretty fast results as well. So obviously there was some short range people that you saw But of course, in any industry, like we're only looking at, there's only a small percentage that know 100%. Right today, I'm in this case selling my home.
Well, there's definitely been a few that have been basically they click on it and the next week I've listed the property. Don't get me wrong, but also like it's just about being in front of them the most as much as possible. Sorry, and even just like there's times where I'm getting to the stage now where I've met people at open homes a year ago, but because they've seen me for so long, they're allowing me to sell their property now just because they've seen me on social media and all this kind of stuff. And obviously it makes me look extremely busy, which is obviously results driven from these buyers and sellers. And when they're ready to rock and roll, they get me through the door.
Yeah, so obviously you focus on the entirety of the pipeline, not just one part of it, which is how you're able to get disproportionate results and grow so quickly as well. And I think also you've had that kind of business owner mentality from the start in terms of ad spend and reinvesting back into it and trying to compound what you're already doing. Yeah,
that's probably something that I would basically want to get across to is like you don't want to limit your ad spend. Like if you're going to treat this as a business, obviously look at the long-term picture. That's how I viewed it at the start. I was spending a fair bit of money on ad spend at the start, but like I said, it's all about building that network that you can nurture and really drive it up from there. But like I said, don't be scared to spend a bit of money to make some money, to be completely honest.
How has your life kind of changed outside of business over kind of that 18-month period?
Yeah, well, to be completely honest, I was back living with my parents before I started real estate. And as I've started this, it's allowed me to purchase another property, my first property, which has also led me into the property that I'm in now. So from this, it's allowed me to leverage, basically leverage quite well and get me into probably close to a dream home, but it's definitely
nice pool in the back. Flamingo in there. That's
might see the flamingo later on. But like I said, it's basically allowed me to leverage a lot of things and really change my life completely. Just because, like, end of the day, this is a business. Run it like a business, and it's very hard to fail.
Yeah, in that 0 to $1 million, you kind of did a lot of the right things, right? Like you had the marketing, you made sure you had the right team there, you scaled up the ad spend, then you've been able to bring on specific team members as well to do a lot of the grunt work or some of those things that maybe wasn't as dollar productive for you as well, which I feel like some people were maybe too scared or to make the kind of leap to do that, or they've just got too many other expenses. Obviously a lot of agents, a lot of expenses in other places, whether that's like trying to maintain a certain image or have that car that's more than they can afford at that time.
Well, even like at the start, like I said, we were chatting before this, like I would budget my life around the ad spend that I need to spend. Obviously I had a set amount that I was going to do minimum at least, and like if I couldn't have that money, I made sure I had that money there and I lived my life basically around that. It wasn't, I've spent all this, I'm going to cut this back to here. I was like, no, this is a non-negotiable. I'm spending this much. And then like even at times I've been saying, let's spend more. And then you guys are like, oh, it's okay. We're pretty good. So we don't have to worry about that too much. But like I said, it's just unbelievable. Obviously the support you guys have too, and the way that you break everything down, you show you what's performing, what's going on. Obviously if something's not performing very well, you guys will take it down, you redo it. And it's just all over it, to be honest. It's just unbelievable. It takes a lot of stress out of myself because I can run ads and all that kind of stuff, but also just basically leveraging off you guys. When you break it down, it's actually quite a small fee. Instead of employing a full-time marketer or something to run your ads, you guys are actually quite affordable if you break it down with what they can really give you guys, and if you leverage them the way that you really want to. So
and I know you were very aggressive in trying to scale up like the ad spend and stuff. And obviously those times we had to say like, Daniel, like I think like we can just sit on what we're doing now. So maybe that's in like for the kind of year to come, maybe expanding onto other platforms or different things we can do in that sense. Because probably people in Ipswich are getting sick of seeing it.
I do get a few messages. People are like, oh, I've seen your ad again. Even the good thing is just like you go to these open homes too, and even buyers are seeing them, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, these buyers are going to be sellers too one day. So you put a face to it all, you're in front of them. It's a long game. It's just a combination of things, but it's really just been streamlined with you guys. And also like the AI on the background, if I would suggest, if you're going to proceed with this, look at doing the added AI, just because it streamlines the whole process. You'd be surprised by how many listings you can get because they've been nurtured so quickly once they've made the inquiry.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And kind of not to put you on the spot too much. Of course, you've had pretty rapid success in real estate. You've gotten to a point that normally takes many agents years and years. What's next for Daniel Parsons?
Yeah. Well, if you asked me this a couple of years ago, who really knew? But right now, I'm trying to scale my team. To be honest, I really want to be the #1 agent in Ipswich. The crazy thing is, like, I went from nothing. I'm actually in the top 20 on realestate.com already, with obviously hundreds of agents in town. But ideally, I want to be in that top, at least 2 position, but we'll go top 1. We'll get #1, but also basically branch into obviously a principal and be able to start my own kind of team and go from there.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that as well.
Get the rent roll going with you guys. Can run ads for that as well.
There you go. I didn't know that, guys. So no, that's and we can't wait to see what you're able to accomplish over the next 12, 18 months based on what you've done now. Generally in life, it's always the kind of 0 to 10 type of thing that's the hardest, and then it's like 10 to 100's a little bit easier. 100 to 1,000's easier than that still, because you kind of got the wheel in motion. So who knows how quickly you'll be able to kind of go to some of those next milestones. Double every year. Who knows?
That's awesome.
What would you kind of say to someone that's maybe thinking about working with us here at Generate Listings, or maybe they're unsure whether they should invest into this?
Yeah, honestly, I would recommend it 100%. If you really wanted to, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to walk you through the process. Like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't leverage what you guys have given me. It's obviously unbelievable what you guys have done, so I would 100% recommend.
For people that are kind of watching this right now, maybe they like your vibe, maybe they're actually a homeowner in Ipswich and they're kind of looking for a reliable real estate agent. Like, how do people reach out to you? Like, where can you be found?
Obviously quite big on social media, so Daniel Parsons, NGU Real Estate, or Danny P. Maybe if you Google that, you might be able to find me. We'll go from there. We'll get that going. But basically social media, Instagram, Danny P at ngurealestate.com, NGU Real Estate, and just Facebook. Reach out to me and go from there.
Yeah, thanks so much for having a chat today, and
Thanks
great to come out and visit new house here.
Yeah.
Super nice. So
time to come check out your place. Let's go. The next podcast at your place.
Yeah, maybe that's on the horizon. But you guys should definitely check Daniel out. Absolutely crushing it in real estate. Definitely check him out on kind of aforementioned channels, and I'll see you in the next case study.
Happy selling.